I would like to specifically start with Sam Darnold.
Take us away.
I thought he won then the game. Obviously, the defense was really, 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 really critical. But let's say the game was just played and Seattle only played on offense and New England only played on defense. I think there are people that would say New England and their defense could beat Seattle's offense, could outscore them potentially in the game. Was Sam Darnold throwing a pick six or something like that?
I think that's a little extreme. I do
I
think
would
there
agree.
are people that would say that, like, going into the game, both defenses had the advantage over the respective offenses.
Yeah.
And a huge part of it was turnovers, and that quarterback turnovers may dictate the game. Darnold had 20 this year, which led the NFL, 20 alone. 14 of those were interceptions, and 6 of those were fumbles. He has 0 in the postseason. He also had 0 in the final 4 weeks of the regular season. The final 3 weeks of the regular season. All 3 of those are really critical games. One of those is the Rams game, and then the number 1 overall seed game against the 49ers. So for him to completely turn that around was really, really substantial. And I thought in this game, his biggest trait was it looked like you were watching Patrick Mahomes out there, just about 5 to 6 steps slower. His ability to avoid sacks or putting the ball in significant danger was mesmerizing. I thought that was the biggest part of Seattle's offense the entire game outside of K9. And there are many specific moments where, for me, there are 6 plays where it feels like he should have been sacked. This should have been a negative play. It should have changed the entire complexion of the game. It could have been a strip sack, you name it. On the second drive of the game, it's 3rd and 6. New England brings 7 guys to the line. They simulate their pressure. They drop their linebackers. It literally looks the exact same as the Devon Witherspoon first sack of the game, where it's a free rusher from the cornerback. It looks the exact same, except that just the sides are flipped. Darnold, however, compared to May, slides up in the pocket. The corner only gets his left arm on him and flies right by him. And then Darnold slides out of the pocket to this newly created space, buys enough time, and he overthrows JSN by like a yard, give or take, nearly a 90-yard touchdown. He turns what could have been a sack, what could have been a strip sack, what could have been, him getting hit in the backside and it turning into a touchdown for New England right off the bat, into nearly a 90-yard touchdown to JSN. It's second play, 6-0 in the middle of the second quarter. They run play action. Chason, edge rusher for New England, wins one-on-one with Gray Zabel. Not the first time Gray Zabel got beat last night. Darnold feels it, steps up, breaks another arm tackle, and throws it away. Could have been a sack. They go down and kick a field goal in that drive and take it to 9-0. So it's a really critical play. Later in that same drive, Milton Williams wins one-on-one. He's running literally right at Darnold, and it is a bull about to run you over kind of thing. Darnold casually slides, finds K9, and picks up a 3rd down on 3rd down and 2. In the last drive of the first half, Seattle runs a little bootleg play. Darnold is pressured immediately. He calmly stops his feet, finds Cooper Kupp over the middle. The first drive of the second half, Darnold's pressured, knows he's going to be hit, gets hit, finds Shaheed over the middle for a 1st down. The next play, they run a slant to JSN. The very next play, Milton Williams wins one-on-one with Gray Zabel. Has the exact same scenario he had in the first half where he's literally running at Darnold. Scotch-free. Darnold, again, casually slides by him, slides out of the pocket, pump fakes, gets a defensive lineman jumping up in the air, and then runs 11 yards for a 1st down. They kick another field goal at the end of that drive. I thought his ability to avoid sacks and avoid those kind of negative plays, which was something I was joking about at least. Jeff Lebby would have hated watching this game from an offensive perspective because there were so many drives that were killed by negative plays, especially on 1st down. Darnold's ability to avoid those plays, I thought, were really the difference in the game. Y'all's thoughts on Darnold's play on Sunday?
I thought it was fine to good, but also it's kind of all they really needed was fine to good. Combined with how well K9 ran the ball, how well the defense was playing. He just was in command at the very least, kind of for all the reasons you just talked about. You highlighted multiple great examples of it. Again, that's all they needed. And didn't turn the ball over is just the biggest key. Didn't even really have too many. He made a couple tight window throws, but even on the tight window throws, he like put it, on the outside shoulder of the receiver away from the DB. Or he was smart when he took his shots, only testing Christian Gonzalez rarely, and none of them really worked out, or most of them didn't really work out. I thought he was pretty good.
I'll tell you exactly what I think, and Jack predicted it. Here, let me see if I can.
You're going to say when I predicted Jalen Milroe? Yeah?
But I don't expect Sam Darnold to, play great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
very well
Y'all
said.
probably couldn't hear that over the. I tried playing it. This is the TikTok we made 4 days ago where Jack said, and I quote, "I expect Sam Darnold to play better, but I don't expect Sam Darnold to play great." Talking about who would play better, May or Darnold. I think that's exactly what happened. What we got. Darnold did not have an excellent game. He didn't have some sort of legacy game where he throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns. He had 1 passing touchdown, but he had no turnovers. He avoided the negative plays. He let the defense work. He did what some people accused the Denver Broncos of being fraudulent for all season, which is let the defense work. Some people accuse the Broncos of being fraudulent for that, but
it's a lot smarter to let the defense work when your defense is actually elite and not just really good.
hey, you got the number 1 seed in the NFL, so they must have been pretty good.
Didn't work in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Enough banter. I think Sam Darnold had the exact game he needed to, and he's still. I'm not gonna say young. He's 30, I think, 29, 30.
That's great. That's actually wild.
But as far as quarterbacks go, he could play another 10 years. And so I think this is a really cool. He's got a ring now. He's one of the most experienced quarterbacks right now in the NFL, playing at this high level. As far as postseason play goes, right? Doesn't have injury history like Burrow does. And so I think that there's on the team he's on and with the pieces they'll be bringing back. I think this is maybe just the beginning of what we're going to see from Seattle. I'm not going to say they're going to be in the Super Bowl, but they're going to be the kind of team you don't want to face in the playoffs. They're going to be the kind of team you don't want to travel to Seattle in a regular season game.
Yeah.
This is just kind of this is the beginning of the beginning for I think Seattle and Sam Darnold and what they're going to continue to do there over the next 4 to 5 years. And that's what's so cool. It's he's peaking at this time. It's perfect. He played a good game. He had a really good postseason. He had the big game. Someone in our TikTok comments was like, he's had big games before, and I mean maybe, but I think that this was different, right? He had the chokes last year in week 18, game 17 against the Detroit Lions for the 1 seed. Chokes, has a terrible game. They lose the 1 seed, and now they have to go on the road instead of getting a bye week. And then the first week of the playoffs in the wild card, he chokes against whoever they lost to.
Los Angeles.
Thank you. The loss to the Rams. And then that led to us questioning him and his decision to go to Seattle. It led to us questioning Seattle and their decision to move on from Geno Smith. Our YouTube video for their offseason or for their 2025 season preview video was Sam Darnold really an upgrade or something? It was something like that. I feel pretty confident now that he was an upgrade over Geno Smith.
Or maybe,
Arguable.
let's just say, if Geno Smith was in this good situation in Seattle, are we sure Geno Smith couldn't have just, made the same run?
Can we not argue it's not debatable?
Can we not?
Jack just made a great
can we
argument
not
that
argue
it is
it's
debatable.
not debatable?
Can we argue that it is debatable? I guess is what I was
Yeah,
trying to say.
I think we can argue it's debatable.
I feel like I just made an
Jack
argument.
just made a really good argument.
He went to go
The
die
Raiders, yeah.
in Las
There's a really
Vegas.
good argument that if he had JSN and Cooper Kupp and AJ Barner, that offensive line, that defense, that they're not at least in the NFC Championship and maybe in the Super Bowl. You can make that argument.
Something to chew
It's not
on.
a really good argument,
Food for thought.
but it is an argument
it's
to
not a
be made.
bad argument.
That all that to say, I think Sam Darnold had a really good game where he executed well. He missed a couple throws, and we can talk about that a little bit. But also, it's the Super Bowl, and that Patriots defense has been playing really well the past couple games in the playoffs. So I'm not going to get nitpicky and say, well, he missed a JSN throw. He missed a couple others as well, but there were also some drops in there where he hit a guy on the hands, and he dropped. So it was a really good game, and I think that it's cool to see him. I think as you think about a player peaking, I think this is like the top of the crown of the mountain. I think we have a couple of more years of him playing like this before we
Sure.
start to see any sort of regression. It's
I
my
mean,
hope.
to speak to like what was something throughout his career that he really, really struggled with.
Turnovers.
Turnovers. What's another thing?
Is it going to be choking? What I said earlier?
Just like sacks. You're talking about like just like
Decision making.
Blitz.
He kind of
confidence.
struggled with all of it. Let's just say
Yeah.
throughout his career, he has struggled with all of it.
I think the biggest one for me is against the blitz,
Yeah.
against pressure. New England blitzed on 70% of their plays in the first quarter. They brought the pressure immediately. They saw what Sam Darnold's entire career had been and thought, okay, let's see if we can make that out of him on the brightest stage. And then the first one was, like you mentioned, turnovers. He had 20 of them this year, led the NFL, and then he did not turn the ball over the entire postseason, and of course the last 3 weeks of the regular season as well. It's an incredible statement for him, and he really only, for me, put the ball in harm's way like 3 times, all of them in the first half, which is, I thought spoke to him that once we got to the second half and it was like, okay, we just need the clock to literally hit all zeros on the fourth quarter and we win.
Yeah.
He doesn't put the ball in harm's way. The 3 throws are the very first throw of the game. He hits A.J. Barner on an out route. If he misses that inside, it's a pick 6 for Marcus Jones. Ends up being a first down. The second one was a JSN throw on the second drive where he threw it into double coverage. And then a post route to JSN that he missed inside. That was the last drive right before the halftime. He misses it just inside. Christian Gonzalez had the ball in his hands, just dropped it. Outside of that, he does not put the ball in harm's way really much ever in the game. And, in fact, he was great under pressure. Like I mentioned, all of those plays where he's immediately pressured and he somehow finds a way to get it from a negative play to a positive play or just a neutral play. That's something we rave about Kamario Taylor. And Sam Darnold, look, no offense to him, he's a Super Bowl champion. He's not as athletic as Kamario Taylor.
No.
And so for him to do that against NFL guys on the biggest stage in the biggest game of his career, it is an unbelievable statement. We talked about it before the game. Obviously, it was talked about with his draft class with Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen, those 2 elite quarterbacks, and then the other 2 bums and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
For him to be the first Super Bowl winner out
2
of that
running backs.
is amazing. Yeah, 2 running backs. I think that's a good description, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of what yesterday was and even today was the media being the media and trying to, rank him where he is in the league and how many quarterbacks should you pick over him. And Ryan Clark picks 9 NFC quarterbacks over him. And then he does, literally on First Take.
I saw another guy's First Take top 5. He had Sam Darnold 3rd, which
Okay.
is a whole lot better than 9th. Sorry, you can continue. That's just insane for me.
The other one is, and we can talk about this here in a second, what he's going to do. We've talked about it multiple times before, but what he's going to do for backup quarterbacks in terms of giving them a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I don't really care about any of that because the NFC has been built on one thing for past 5 years, give or take, is the best rosters are the teams that end up playing at the Super Bowl every year. And Seattle had the best roster this year, top to bottom. And they arguably had the best special teams in the National Football League. That literally shows on Sunday. They had a great, great offense and then one of the best defenses in football. Their offense was dynamic for the first 7 weeks, and it really then kind of slowed down, but their defense carried the weight. So I don't really care about where you want to rank Sam Darnold and that kind of argument. It's the NFC is built on having the best roster. It's not about having the best quarterback necessarily. But he, with this win, is going to do a ton for good and bad for quarterbacks around the
Sure.
league. For bad, the quarterbacks in his draft class, the 2 running backs, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, in terms of their legacies. And then for good, Zach Wilson is going to have a starting quarterback job at some point, and other
Maybe
guys
the
like
Dolphins
that.
should start him.
That would be an interesting competition, him and Quinn Ewers. We'll
Yeah.
see who wins that. But he's doing some good and bad things for the rest of the league. It's a remarkable story, and it can't really be understated.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves all the props, all the praise. Once again, first USC quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You already talked about the draft class he's come from. It's crazy that he's the first one to win the whole thing out of it, but just speaks volumes to him and kind of how far he's come.